Is day 14 on Road to a Million, and today was a very productive day. So, essentially, what I did was I started to create my free offer for being able to get yoga studios contact info so that then I can start reaching out to them, which was fantastic, and I enjoyed doing that. I had 4 hours of deep work today, which I really missed that and enjoyed that. And from that, this is the crazy part, you guys. From that, essentially just kind of pivoting and making some ideas and putting some pieces together, which is pretty exciting. And then ended up going to the gym a little bit later after I ended up writing that whole thing up. And my plan is to edit it tomorrow and then also get a contract because I ran into one of my old lifting partners from back when I was lifting at a different gym during COVID and ran into him. And he runs his own business. He does essentially like a recruiting business. He also owned a restaurant beforehand. Super smart guy, but he was telling me that there might be some lockdowns coming down into place sometime soon. So if there is, and that does happen, that does give me a different selling tactic and a different way to approach the studios that I'm going to be selling to, because essentially I can focus more on an online driven model instead of a in-person driven model, which both will work, I believe, and that's why I'm going to be focusing more on the in-person to start out with. And if there's a shutdown, then pivot over to the more online based model because margins are a lot higher, so I can always use that as a selling tactic and strategy for my consulting and courses and tell them like, hey, if you guys are online, I'll help you guys get online and get that all set up. So I have that in mind. And then I was able to practice my pitch as well to somebody in the sauna today. Somebody that's into like mindfulness meditation or wanted to do it a little bit. He's doing Calm and then Headspace for his meditation apps right now. And I was talking to him about how like, yeah, the free versions are great. Like they work out, but they only get you to a surface level. If you actually want to get to that next level, then you have to do this other thing. And that's where like I started to give him some examples of how like I was able to realize like when walking in public, you can use that as meditation or the reason for meditating and how it's a lifelong journey, similar to lifting. Because when I was talking to my other friend, Lincoln, about that whole thing where it was him taught like how I was telling him like, yeah, I do sales, I'm going to start my own thing. He's like, you might want to wait. But then I was telling him, I'm like, dude, it's just, I've been waiting for so long. Not even necessarily I've been waiting for so long, but it's just like, if I just keep waiting. And I feel like that's like a strategy that people use to try and talk you out of your dreams. Not saying that that's what he was trying to do, but it is something that I think we tell ourselves is like, oh, just say buying a house. It's like, oh, I'm just waiting for the market to go down, or I'm just waiting for prices to go down, or I'm just waiting for the XYZ thing to happen before I make the move. And then you never actually end up making the move. So it's like, I'm too busy to meditate. I'm too busy to go to yoga. I'm too busy to do this thing. Bad things are going to be happening in the future. It's like, yeah, anything can happen in the future. We have no guarantee. We could die tomorrow for all we know. Like tons and tons of things can happen tomorrow, later in the future. So it's like, yeah, plan for 5-10 years down the road, but also be ready to take a risk. Be ready to jump right now, because if not, like, when are you going to do it? If you don't do it now, you're never going to do it, type of thing. And that's why this next week I'm going to be taking off another week and about a half, because I'm pretty sure the first is Memorial Day. So I'm going to be taking off that day as well as the next week to be able to get all of the contract, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow, getting that all set up. And then figuring out another structure, because I was taking a relook at this book just today, and one of the pages that I had flagged was actually the industry that I'm in, which is kind of actually really cool to see. So got that in mind. Probably going to reread through this book and just re-go over it and actually implement everything that it has said in this. It's a lot of the reading that I've done in the past. I've never actually like implemented the exact same things. So I'm going to take some bits and pieces out of this book and see what I can find. And if not, maybe even just buy his course to speed up the process, because I have a feeling he has a course. Just be able to get my feet wet, because essentially I'm just going to be doing some consulting, some coaching, providing as much value as I possibly can. And that was why the nice part when I was talking to Lincoln was he's like, you can get creative with your pricing schedule. So like if, say, a studio that I reach out to or any business that I'm reaching out to, which right now it's just going to be studios, and I'm reaching out to them and they don't have the capital to be able to write like a $10,000 check, then I can do payment plans or payment installments. Or it's like, hey, you only have to pay me after I deliver on these results, or you can pay me like we'll just do like a holding fee, a deposit, security deposit that I'll hold on to the first 30 days, just so that at least you have some skin in the game. Because if you don't, like, if you don't have any skin in the game right now, like, you're not going to be following up as much or doing the work. Like, it's the same thing with anything in our life. Like, we have to do and put in some sort of effort. Because, like, if we think back to when we were kids, and we think back to, like, anything that was given to us, we didn't really ever value it. At least, like, I didn't value it as much as, like, me going out and working for something. Like, when I bought my first car, like, I valued that a lot more than a car that was somewhat, it wasn't gifted to me. Like, I still had to put some skin in the game. But I've heard stories and I've seen other people where it's like their parents just give them the keys to, like, a brand new fancy car, and the kid goes off and crashes it 2 weeks later. So it's like, if you don't have any skin in the game, you're not actually going to implement the things that I'm talking about. So that's why we're just going to have a security deposit, essentially. And I was asking this to Lincoln as well, too, because he's like, he brought up the 10K mark, which I was originally only going to be charging like $2,500 for my clients. But he's like, maybe have a $2,500, and he didn't even really say it this way, but this is kind of how I took it, was have like a $2,500 signing bonus or something like that, like signing fee essentially. So they pay $2,500, and then once I deliver the results that I'm talking about, because the results that I'm talking about are going to be astronomical. Like, they're going to be results that you don't see in any other industry, because that's just not, like, I go above and beyond. I work harder than anybody else when I have something that I'm working for. So that's why I'm also going to be quitting my job into September. So that's exciting. Yeah, that's really, really exciting. And it might even be sooner than that. We'll see. But he was telling me that it's actually pretty easy to get like a $10,000 client. So my thought is have like the $2,500 as like a security deposit, essentially. I know that's not a retainer fee of some sort. And then once I deliver on the results that I'm talking about, and I help them get to the point to where they have implemented the skills and the strategies that I have in place to help them increase their revenue, then it's like you can give them the remaining $7,500. So it's like having a $10,000, at least that's going to be my, like, the top tier, because like right now it's just me, and if I can technically just have one person giving me the $10,000 each month, then like that'll be good for right now, because like then I can focus all my effort and attention on that person and make sure that they are getting the results that they need to be getting in a weekly, in a daily, weekly, and monthly time frame, and then let them know like, hey, I can help you get to this point in 90 days. Let me just prove to you that I can do this in the first 60 days or first 30 days or something like that. And then we can continue to work forward from there after the next 90 days if you so choose. Otherwise, by all means, go somewhere else, or just give me a referral or testimonial, whatever it may be. Got those in the works right now, which is super exciting. And then, like I said, we'll just be getting that first client. And if, say, there was a shutdown, this is the other part that I wanted to kind of touch on. If there is another shutdown for some odd reason, we still have the YouTube channel, which I can dedicate more time to that. And I have a good amount of savings saved up. So that's why it's like, dude, if shit does go sideways and like I'm out of a job or whatever it may be, which I am going to be, like, I know I can sell now. That's a given. Like, I can sell anyone and anything on any idea that I have. That's just a fact, because I have the conviction. I just know what to say, what to do, like how to bullshit, when not to bullshit, when to go for the jugular, when not to go for the jugular. Like, I know how to sell. And that was my biggest driving factor with having the 9-to-5 job that I have right now, was to see if I actually could back up what I knew at my heart. And now that I know that, it's like, okay, well, let me go sell for myself. I'm going to go sell for myself, and I'm going to keep all the profits. I'm going to keep all the residuals. I'm going to help me make it so that I don't have to continually go out and sell each and every single month unless I say want to. And then I can scale up and have teams and the such and everything like that. And at that point in time, I can dedicate more time and focus on working on like my YouTube channel and driving traffic that way as well. Right now, because like right now my primary focus is just getting that, like, either one $10,000 client or 5 $2,500 clients. The one $10,000 client obviously will be less of a headache and will be a lot easier to work with, because they're spending more money, so they understand that their money is going to have a return, and they are thinking more business savvy, essentially, compared to like the $2,500 client, which may have more questions, complaints, and or, I guess, things that I need to help out with. I mean, I'm going to be helping the 10K client as much as I would be helping a $2,500 client. Don't get me wrong there. there's just two different, they think differently. That's just all I'm saying. Is like from working at my 9-to-5 job company, I've been able to see that firsthand. So after talking with Lincoln and hearing that it is pretty easy to get a 10K client, I figure why not do that, especially if I'm driving results of helping them, like getting them up to the 6 figures per month. And something else that he kind of brought up to me as well too is like, I can only get the clients in. I can give you every strategy. I can give you every tactic. I can give you everything that I know that will bring in people to your studio. What you do from there, that's on you. I can't do anything else from there unless you keep me around and I help you be accountable and make sure that like we're hiring the best teachers that we can. We have other workshops where there's like meditation workshops of beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Like there's all these different things that I can also help out with. It's just my primary goal right now is just helping yoga studios get 100 new clients in 14 days. That's my main primary goal with zero advertising. So I'm going to continue to work on like the lead generation page, the special offer that I have in place right now tomorrow, and then also structure possibly a different or possibly reference onto other like once I have a studio, and I'm going to possibly think about doing this as well, is reaching out to a couple of other businesses and being like, hey, any new clients that you have, like if you want to send them over this way, we'll send all the clients that we have over to you guys because we understand how massages work very well with like yoga treatment. And then I can also go to chiropractors, which I never really went to chiropractors, so that might not be the best place for me to go, but that isn't always an option as well. And then reach out to local gyms as well in the area and be like, hey, yoga and gym workouts seem to work out very well. So is there any way that anybody that comes from XY studio over here can have a one free like training session with you just to give them some guidance on training if that's something that they so choose. So essentially like, yeah, yoga studios is my main focus. It is helping people become more mindful in shape and then obviously just more focused in their everyday life. So we got some things that I got to work on tomorrow, like I said, and then take off the next week because like Saturday's already over, dude. And I've been loving this. It's been so much fun. It's been so much fun. Like actually getting to work on what I want to work on and being creative and like thinking up the ideas and not having to worry about it. And like the other guy, like I think my plan, as much as I don't want it to do this, but I'm feeling like I might just keep one. So like just keep the job, like I said, for September essentially. Work on getting my first client just to prove to myself that I can get that client. And I said that was my goal, I think on day 6 or 4 or something like that, like to have at least one client by the end of September. So that's my primary focus. Just getting one client by the end of September to prove that this is something that I can do. And once I see that I have one, it's a done deal at that point.